What's up, kids? It's our first video, and it's going to be volume of cylinders. Now, if you look, the formula for finding the volume of a cylinder is V equals pi r squared h. It's right there, being outlined beautifully by Siegel. And so if you look over to the right, it says, what is the volume of this cylinder? You're going to use pi, and that number is going to be 3.14. That's the number we're going to use to plug into our equation. So now if you look at, we're looking for R and H, which is what we always do. Remember, H is always the easiest one to find. So if you look at your cylinder, what is the height? It's 6 feet, right? Exactly. So we're going to take that 6 feet and we're going to plug it in over here for H. Perfect. And now we have to decide what the radius is. Now in our picture, there's a radius and there's a diameter. Now the diameter, if you remember, is the length across the entire thing, whereas the radius is only half of that. So what's half of 12, Siegel?
6.
6, very good. So the radius is also going to be 6 feet. And now that we found everything, and we know we're going to use 3.14 for pi, we just rewrite our new equation. So we have volume equals, and for pi, we're going to write 3.14. For our radius, we're going to write 6. Don't forget to put in parentheses, very good. And remember, it's going to be 6 squared, right, because it's r squared. And then times by our new height, which is also 6. And now, from here, you can plug it into a calculator, or if you're good with your numbers, which I know all of you are, you could actually solve this freehand. But when you officially solve it, you end up with, what's it end up being, Siegel? Siegel's doing it right now. He's a little lax.
678.24.
678.24. Perfect answer. And remember, don't forget your label. And it's feet. And then you're done with that problem. So a quick recap. You just have to figure out what you're going to plug in for your R and your H. And then you move on from there.
Okay, let's keep moving.
So let's move on to the next problem. So I hope you got all this. Take 20, well, not even 20. We're moving now. Hope you got it. Now we're going on to volume of prisms. And it says volume equals a capital B times H. Well, we've been working with formulas just like this. We'll start with the H. It's always the easiest one. It's just height. If you look at your picture, the height is 7. That's the straight up, right? It's 7 yards. So for H, you're going to write 7. And don't forget your labels. That's going to be big for these problems. And now to find B, when you're finding B, it's the same as it's always been. You're finding the area of the base object. And right here, you can see it's a rectangle. If you look at the bottom of it, it's just going to be area equals length times width, which we know is just going to simply be 3 times 2, or 2 times 3, and that'll give you 6. And so now we have our B and we have our H. And so all we need to do is rewrite the formula. So volume equals BH, which will end up being 6 times 7, which will give us 42. And Siegel, what's the label on that?
I think we're doing this in yards.
Yards, very good. Don't forget your labels.
Wow.
And there you go. And that's it. That's it for volume of prisms. Not too bad. That's probably the easiest one. And now we'll move on to the next one. Oh, it's going down. All right, so now same thing, but hold on. This is looking a little different because it's on its side. But that's okay, because it'll still work out just fine. Let's identify our height. Now, here's the thing. Remember, it's on its side. It's tilted over. So the height is actually right there, like Mr. Siegel's labeling. So the height is going to be 3 inches for this one. So make sure, so if it's on its side like that, you have to remember it's like tilted over. All right? And now to find the area of the base, which is going to be that B, it's the same thing we've been doing. Remember, it's what's the height of the triangle. You see right there, there's our triangle. There's our height. Our height is 2 inches, and our base is base times height, right? So the area of a triangle, when you write that, is 1/2 base times height. And we know that we have a 2 for the B and a 2 for the H. It's going to be 1/2 times 2 times 2, which just gives us 2, right, Siegel?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's easy to solve, right? Because V is just B times H, so it's just going to be 2 times 3, which we know, because we're awesome scholars, just equals 6. Little mistake for you. We're helping you out. 6 inches cubed, right? Perfect. So remember, the big thing to remember with these problems is just that it's leaning off to the side. You got to remember that the height is that long piece right there. That's the number one thing that's probably going to trip you up with these problems. writing. Take 5 seconds to copy the notes. Make sure you have everything. Done. We are done. Have fun, kids.